Well, my name is Mridhu Kular, and I'm a freelance journalist from India. I write mostly about social injustice and human rights, and I've spent 6 years working in India, and I spent 2 months earlier last year working in Ghana.
What brought you to the States?
I'm a visiting scholar at UC Berkeley's Graduate School of Journalism, where I'm also discussing among peers about how to report in different countries around the world, especially developing countries.
And you've got a pitch on Spot Us, so let's talk about what you think about Spot Us.
Well, I think Spot Us is a very interesting new model for journalism because it's involving people in the act of journalism. It's trying to figure out what people want to know more about, and it's community-based journalism, which means that instead of a few people deciding what everybody reads, everybody gets a say in what everybody reads. And seeing as the decline of the newspaper industry as we know it, we do need new ways of thinking, new models of working, and I think Spot Us kind of hits it spot on.
Nice. Could you talk about your pitch a little bit and just explain what it is that you pitched to us? And
yeah, well, now that the economy is in recession, we're seeing a lot of people being troubled by financial worries. People are losing their jobs, income is tight, and the pressure within families among themselves even is quite high. And what that results in is mental health problems that we've seen in the past in recessions around the globe, that when a country goes into recession, when there is any kind of economic crisis, just the number of people who report mental health problems goes up. But the problem now, or what we're seeing, is that while the mental health problems are going up, the resources are dwindling. Healthcare in this country, regardless of the economy, is not at its best anyway. So you throw in the economic conditions, people have no money to go to doctors. The doctors are now losing their jobs. So it's becoming one problem on top of the other, where people who need help are not getting it, and at this point, people need more help than they've ever needed before. And so I would like to go into the medical system, find out what's available to people, what hospitals are doing about this, and how we cope with this massive problem of mental health that is not just a problem in the short term, but that we will see continuing over the next decade or so.
how do you, excuse me, how do you propose to do your reporting? What do you see it? What are the stages of reporting that you would do? How do you envision it?
Well, first I'd like to talk to the people who've lost their jobs and to see what kind of impact they're feeling, if, family relationships, how those are being affected. Is there actually a real problem here that is going to, what the scale of the problem is? And then I'd like to go into the healthcare system, basically, and talk to the doctors and get an analysis of how big the problem is and what the solutions are, because we know there's a problem, but how do we fix it is the real question.
How much reporting have you done already?
How do I quantify it?
In the sense that, have you been able to contact sources, or have you got...
I've contacted a few people, which is how I came up with the story in the first place. I've been speaking to a few psychotherapists and people who reported an increase in the number of people who are now feeling the pinch of the economy and are coming to them with that. But it's been very basic so far. So I've spoken to a few people who have said that there's a problem, but the full depth of the problem would need to be investigated.
Are you going to, is it going to be a print piece, and is it going to have any photos or any video?
Yes, it's going to be a print piece. Yeah.
Just last words as far as why you're interested in this particular topic, your personal interest in it, or...
I don't really have any vested personal interest. I just think it's an important story that kind of gets missed, because we talk a lot, now there's a lot on the news about how to cope with the recession, how to, how to plan financially, how to, where your budget what your budget should look like, where your money should go, but there's not enough talk about what the impact will be long term, and whether there are any resources that are available to weather the storm. So I think that's an important thing to talk about.
Any last words?
Thank you. Please donate.